I recently came across a video which talked about how to become a better leader, and I found it quite interesting and useful. And today I'll go deeper into it. And so, firstly, what is the importance of being a good leader? And so, yeah, good leaders are needed everywhere, maybe in powerful organizations or just in a group of friends. And examples of really good leaders are Napoleon, where he led France to become one of the most powerful nations at the time, or Elon Musk, where you can imagine if he left his companies, Tesla or SpaceX, the values would plummet. The values would plummet by quite a lot, and so yeah, you can really see the importance of a good leader and like the amount of impact that it makes. And yeah, one of the things they do is they improve positivity, and an effective leader can make things happen a lot more efficiently. And yeah, there's a difference between management and leadership, where management is like a sort of a system and is sort of like a task. However, leadership is something that you sort of want to do, and you can form connections, and it's sort of like build trust with other people, and it's sort of more closely linked. And so yeah, a lot of people get these two confused, and they end up becoming sort of a manager instead of a leader, where yeah, they just look over what other people do. Where instead, being a leader is, I guess, engaging with the people, and I guess really forming close connections. And yeah, it's a skill that can be learned. And what I thought is when I was younger is that yeah, it's just something that you have to be born with. And I was quite shy when I was younger, and whenever we had like a group project, I would just always I guess I'd always listen and do what other people asked. But yeah, and I just thought I guess being a leader wasn't really what I was born with. However, yeah, I guess now I now I know that you can learn and practice to be a good leader. And now when we have opportunities like with projects, I always try and step in and make some decisions. And yeah, it just has helped me improve my skills a lot. And yeah, it's helped me realize that I can actually be a leader as well. And yeah, of course, it can't be learned immediately, but you have to do it over time, and eventually you'll get better at it. And so there's basically five main points that a leader is quite that a good leader would do. And so the first one is to give positive energy and be approachable. And so yeah, so a more likable leader um, is, I guess, more people trust them more, and people can sort of talk to them about their problems. And yeah, I guess it's just good because it leads to higher productivity, and because people want to trust and want to follow that person, and they want to, I guess, yeah, they look up to them. And being approachable is important as well because, um, like, when things go wrong, it's important to go talk to the leader. And a non-productive work environment is where people are afraid to step up and afraid to talk about their problems, um, because it leads to no growth. As I guess you need other people's opinions to do well. So, say for example, in a group project, you need people's opinions, and you need other people to take part in it to for it to actually be successful. And secondly is to have a proactive attitude. And so is the opposite of that is reactive. And when someone is reactive, they basically they don't really focus on how to improve, but they focus more on the problem. And a reactive leader would I guess a reactive leader would I guess blame teammates and not really look forward to the problem. So say for example, uh, say for example a mistake happens while working towards something, then they would just they wouldn't really look forwards for a solution, but um, they would sort of blame others. While on the other hand, a proactive person would just look more at the problem instead of focusing more on. I mean, look more at the solution instead of focusing more on what other people did. And so I once I remember this time when I think it was about maybe it was last year, and I was in a chemistry lesson, and basically we were working on an experiment, and I I ended up mixing the wrong things together, and it was almost quite dangerous, and I found it quite admirable how my teacher didn't really just get angry at me straight away, but at the end of the class they just told me what I did wrong and how I could stop doing it next time, and I think it was quite good because instead of just getting angry immediately, they taught me how to learn and get better instead of just blaming me for the problem. Thirdly is to delegate tasks, and a good leader won't just, I guess, do everything themselves. And of course, yeah, maybe if you did something, you could probably do it better. You probably think you could do better. You probably think you could do it better than another person. You might worry that they might make a mistake while doing it. However, you can't really do everything at once, and instead of focusing on the small tasks, you should focus more on the things that really matter. So, say for example, it's a bit like managing. It's a bit like trying to control a rocket ship, where you can't really control everything at once by yourself. You have to have at least two or three or maybe five people there to manage the controls, in case something goes wrong. And so yeah, you can't really, if someone did it all by themselves, then obviously the rocket would crash. So yeah, I guess you just really need to rely more on your teammates and trust them to be able to do things as well as you can. Fourth is to do what is expected of others, and so yeah, obviously if you show hypocrisy and if you tell someone to do something and you yourself don't really do it, then it will cause people to not really like you, and I guess not really look up to you and not want to follow you, as you're sort of doing the opposite of what you're telling other people to do. So, say for example, you want your workers to be productive and you want your teammates to do tasks with 100% effort. If you're just sitting back and relaxing while you tell them to do that, then obviously they're not really going to want to listen. And so yeah, so maybe for example, helping out with their tasks from time to time, as well as doing your own, can form more connections and can also show them that you want to help, and you're not just and you're actually doing what they want, and you're actually doing the things like them as well. And yeah, I'm sure you've all heard of like I'm sure you've all heard of like a lot of revolutions that happen because of leaders who just don't really who just are lazy and don't really work hard. For example, in the French Revolution, where Louis XVI he wanted the people to work for him and pay so much taxes. However, he spent all day partying, and so instead of yeah, and that just caused people to be really angry and try to overthrow him. And it's a bit like yeah, where if you just end up slacking off and you end up not taking part in whatever the task is, then people will eventually grow angry at you as well and and not want to listen to you anymore. Fifth is to be decisive, where yeah, you have to make decisions even if you're unsure, and yeah, you have to do it with confidence. Otherwise, people will be unsure whether to trust you or not. So it's a bit like an army commander, where you have to make important decisions whether to retreat or to go forwards. And obviously, if you look unsure in that moment, then people will doubt you and people will not really follow your leadership properly. However, if you look confident and if you look like certain, then people will trust you and people will want to go into battle for you. And it's a bit like that, where yeah, if you show weakness, then people just I guess they won't really feel like you're really worth listening to. I hope you learned something from these. Main points to take away are to be positive and to have a proactive attitude then to delegate tasks, as you can't do everything by yourself, and to do what is expected of others, and then finally to be decisive and make important decisions. So I hope you learned something, and I hope you took something away for you to live a better life in the future. Thank you for listening.